Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this month's Lebanon Plan Commission meeting. We will go ahead and call ourselves to order and call the roll.
Okay. Dan Bayshore.
Here.
Denise Niblick.
Here.
Diane Scott.
Here.
Kevin Krulik.
Here.
Corey Coots.
Here.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Heather Schaller.
Here.
Lori Gross.
Here.
Thank you very much, Kelly. First item we have up is for the approval of the minutes. I believe we all received a copy. April 21st, I believe, was the date of those minutes. If there's not any questions, I would entertain a motion on those. We've got a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second from Heather. All those in favor, please signify with an aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. That does carry. I see no old business, so we'll move directly on to new business. First item up is docket 25-30, which is a request for vacation of public right-of-way. And Mr. Bontrager, you got some info?
Thank you, Mr. Coots. Members of Plan Commission, good evening. Good to see you. It's been a couple of months. The request before you this evening, as Mr. Coots mentioned, is a request to vacate right-of-way. And so the process for any right-of-way vacation is a multi-step process. First, it does come to the Plan Commission, as we're doing here this evening, to review whether there would be any issues with the vacation of the right-of-way, and then provide a recommendation. And that recommendation sends forward to the council, and then the vacation is actually completed via ordinance. So that would be the step. This is the first step to do a recommendation. Then it'll go to an introduction of an ordinance to the council at their next Monday evening's meeting. So pulling this up here, I'll go through the background here. As you can, this is the Edgewood neighborhood on the left-hand side of this map, and on the right-hand side is Cedar Ridge. Edgewood Section 1, which is on the left-hand side of the screen here, was originally developed back in the 1950s, and this Section 1 was platted back at that point. It was anticipated at that time that Edgewood, the development, would continue to the east. And they had accommodated access to that area by providing these right-of-way stubs that you see here. And actually, there's another one at the south end of the neighborhood. At that point, there actually was not access to the Cedar Ridge area from Fordyce, because there were homes along there. And so the intention was to provide access areas from these stub streets. Well, as you can see, those sections of Edgewood were never developed. That road was never constructed. And it's essentially been used by the private landowners as their property since that time. When Cedar Ridge came in and bought this property to the east 5 years ago, they preferred to have their own access off of Fordyce. And so they bought a home that was up on Fordyce, demolished the home, and built their own access, as you see here on the map. And so in doing so, they've obviously eliminated any potential for that right-of-way stub from Edgewood to ever connect and ever become a street. And so we were approached by the landowners on either side of this right-of-way a few months back. I said, well, we're already kind of using it. Is there any chance we could vacate this right-of-way and actually we would own this property? And so that's the request is for you here tonight. And so that's a quick overview. And then let me zoom in here a little bit. Those property owners have done is prepared an exhibit and legal description showing that split of right-of-way. As you can see here, it is an 80-foot right-of-way, and it would be split evenly, 40 feet going to the north property owner and 40 feet going to the south property owner. So they have prepared that exhibit that will include in that right-of-way vacation showing legal descriptions of which property goes to which landowner. So that's a quick overview there. This next thing, when we look at any vacation requests, we talk to all the utilities, make sure that there aren't any conflicts that would arise by vacating this right-of-way. So let me go here to this next. So what this shows then is the lines in blue are the electric lines, the lines in red are water lines. And so they, as part of that potential development, they had stubbed a water line in from the west into this right-of-way, assuming that it would be constructed further to the east. That is obviously not going to be the case either. The water line's going to be extended. So Lebanon Utilities just said that they're just going to cap that off back at the valve in Edgewood Drive. And so that whole section of stub will be vacated, that water line. So that's not an issue. However, that electric line does need to be accommodated in some way so that the Lebanon Utilities can have access to that line. And so what they requested, and I'll go back here then to this last slide, is that, zoom in again. So there are existing 8-foot utility easements to run across the eastern edges of the existing Lot 31 and Lot 32, the adjacent property owners. And what they've requested is to essentially extend that 8-foot easement across the eastern edge of what would be now vacated right-of-way. And so that's something I've already passed that information along to the property owners, and we'll work with them to get those exhibits done with their surveyor. And essentially what they'll do is they'll record the vacation ordinance, and then once they become the owners of that property, then they would turn right around and record an easement dedication document to record that 8-foot easement across there, just to make sure that Levy Utilities has access to those lines across that property. So with that then, staff recommendation would be that in review of the submitted request, we would recommend forwarding the vacation request to the Common Council with a favorable recommendation, and that would be subject to the following condition, as I just discussed. And that would be that the applicants record an 8-foot utility easement along the eastern edge of the subject right-of-way to accommodate the existing electric utility lines. And that would need to happen immediately after recording of the vacation ordinance. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Ben. Any questions from the commission? Perfect. Any of the applicants care to speak? It's absolutely not required, but you're welcome to. Seeing none, this is an item that does have a public hearing, so I will officially open the public hearing on docket 25-30. If anyone wishes to make public comment, please step to the podium. Limit your comments to 3 minutes if possible. Seeing no sudden movements to the microphone, I will go ahead and close that public hearing. So the public hearing has been held for docket 25-30. If there's not any additional questions from the commission, I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to Common Council with a favorable recommendation, subject to the following. Subject right.
So we have a motion and a second to forward with favorable recommendation. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. That motion does carry. Thank you very much, folks. That was a relatively easy agenda item. I see no other business to come before us. Anything from the commission? If not, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Fastest motion of the evening. All those in favor, please signify with an aye. Aye. All those opposed? We are adjourned. The next regularly scheduled meeting will be August the 18th. Thank you.